We're going to start up here in just a second. I guess you guys don't remember Sherry Lewis, but you probably aren't. Most of you aren't even old enough. But she had a magic mirror, and she could look through the magic mirror through the TV, and she could say, "Hi, Pat. Hi, Ann. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Michael. Hi, Tony. Hi, Danny. Hi, Chris." And I would just wait for my name, and as soon as I heard my name, I just knew that she could look through that TV and see me, and I thought she was talking to me. But anyway, that's not why we're here today. But okay, I'm ready to get started. So, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Randall Baxter. I'm the president of Asset Positioning Services. We run a training program for people who want to add estate planning to their product and service portfolio. And today, I think I'm just going to spill my guts this afternoon and talk to you all the same way I've talked to myself. So I'm going to ask you all a question, and I want you to ask yourself, why am I here? And it's pretty serious. Why am I here? So if you're taking notes or anything, that's what I want you to pay attention to. And when I started writing the script for this yesterday, I typed in, I Googled, and I said, why do people ask why I'm here? And some people, one of them said, well, I think, therefore I am. And then there was a bunch of other stuff, but it actually turned down to something called existentialism. And it was pioneered in the 19th century by a philosopher named Soren Kierkegaard. It looks like he's a Swedish or a Norwegian or something. And it deals with the topic of the question, why I am here. And it deals with existence and its meaning or lack thereof. An interesting part of this schema is that of the much dreaded existential angst. Now, that's a lot to throw at you. As you know, I was just trying to decide if each one of you had the opportunity to tell me why you're here. I really would like to know. I don't want you to do it right now, but if you're here, I'm sure everybody has a different reason that life lacks meaning. Well, I don't feel that way about what I do, but if you feel that way, it's causing a form of anxiety and a feeling of despair and hopelessness. Well, I've talked to most of you, and I don't see that being there. So why am I talking about it? Well, some of the research that I did was clinical psychologists must have no shortage of clients who were experiencing the anxiety and depression that resulted from the inability to answer the question, why am I here? Why are you here at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, listening to me? And what is it would expect, or what is it you would want to get out of being here? If somebody says I'm breaking up, I'll try and talk slower. But and if you can't understand why I'm breaking up, go ahead and just follow my words that I typed out, because they're about the same thing. But so my question for you is, why are you here? And I did some research to find out, are you engaged in what you do? Are you engaged in estate planning? Are you engaged in the front end sale? Are you engaged in the back end sale? Or maybe you're here and you're not engaged. Or maybe you're here and you're actively disengaged. I have licensees sometimes that sign up to get a license, and they go a year before they write any business. It makes me wonder, why are they here? So that's what I'm concentrating on today. So I just want to give you an idea of what I'm dealing with and what I hope to do, because there are about 150 of you folks that not all here today, but there's about 150 people that deal with me probably once a week or once a month. And this is just something that I did a little research on, and I tried to apply it to my licensee. What's going on? And I don't know where you are, but again, I'm going to ask you the question: why am I here? It's still causing the same angst. It's just dressed up a little different. It could be that only 13% of people involved here today are actually engaged in what they're here to learn, or emotionally invested in their work and focused on helping their organizations improve. Well, I like to call this organization a tribe. I just have always thought of all of us being in a tribe. But could it be that 63% of the people, even in this room today or everywhere, are not seriously engaged? I spent some time with my CPA yesterday, and she looked at me and she said, "How do you do that?" And I looked at her and I said, "Well, I work hard and I think about what I'm doing every day." And she said, "How can you stay that way? How do you stay that way all the time?" And I just said, "Well, it's because I like what I do." But but if 13% are actually engaged and 63% are not engaged or simply unmotivated and unlikely to exert any extra effort, you know, um, I hope you're not at this meeting today. But that would mean that if 13% were engaged and 63% were not engaged, that would mean that 24% are actively disengaged or truly unhappy and unproductive. And I'll be honest with you, I, today I have talked to licensees who are unhappy and unproductive, uh, not because of what we teach, but because of their mindset. So, so, so I'm not going to ask you why you're here. I'm going to tell you why I'm here. And I hope that helps you understand the time I put into things and what I want for you and what I want to share with you. But anyway, so I'm going to tell you a little story to let you know I'm a 70-year-old former elementary school teacher. And I started teaching when I was 23 years old. And I became a professor in a local college by age 24. And in the meantime, I was a part-time vinyl repair craftsman. I could make a tear in a vinyl top on the Cadillac disappear, and I could match the color, and it'd take me 10 minutes, and they'd pay me $75, and I'd move on to the next dealership. But then I became a licensed life insurance agent. I was age 29 when that happened. And it wasn't long after that, after 2 years of being an agent, New York Life asked me to be a training supervisor. Uh, I wasn't probably supposed to tell you the company, but anyway, by age 31. But as I grew a little older, I escaped from the industry for a short period of time. I don't care to tell you, I quit selling insurance and I became a professional paintball player, and I did that for several years. But eventually, I started thinking about it, and I went, "Whoa, I can't do this the rest of my life." So I returned to the individual production at age 42. And I realized my greater income opportunity was in estate planning and not the paintball sport. I still love my sport, and I still do, but I became an independent entrepreneurial agent, business owner, registered investment advisor who had lost the ability to identify suspects. So see, in many, many ways, I'm a lot like a lot of the licensees that come to me. I had lost that skill. And but I was more interested in playing paintball anyway. But I had to make a choice. I had to decide: do I want to grow old in a business where I can't get up and run away from the children, or do I want to go and make a lot of money? And my problem was my energy was spent playing my sport. So, so in many cases, I'm a lot like some of the licensees here today. I needed to learn how to re-identify suspects. And I had to be honest with myself, and I had to state the answer before I could ask the questions how to get where I wanted to be. And I'll be honest with you, I've dealt with that all day long today. So, so, you know, again, I just want to ask the question, why are you here? So to go back into my story, one day I saw an ad to become a delivery agent for a trust company. And they would set my appointments for me, which means I didn't have to identify suspects. And my job was to go see what the situation was or could become. And if possible, I was to make a sale of a very select annuity group offered by two companies. And that was called a go back. And you know, it's almost like I sold my soul for a couple months, that if I didn't have to prospect, I felt like I was in second heaven. But I didn't realize it was making me weaker every day. So so I thought not needing to make my own appointments was an ideal solution, but it made me weaker, not stronger. I paid all my expenses and got 35% of the sale, not 100% of the sale. The products were not designed for everyone, but no other products were to be allowed to be presented. So if I wanted to have an income, I had to present the products that they wanted me to sell, not the ones the customer wanted. And to break back into the industry, I sort of sold my soul for just a short period of time till I realized what I was doing. And then I got fired for getting the right product to a person who needed me to find the right product. The right product was not on the approved list of products, but I sold it to them anyway. That's pretty evil, isn't it? Do what's right. And because I got fired for doing what was right, it became a remarkable new awareness for me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Why am I here? Well, why are you here? So so what was remarkable about that new awareness? Well, I'm about to tell you. When people, and y'all listen to this, because if you learn anything, this one paragraph is what you need to learn today. When people are in a conversation that leads them to making a decision and looking to find someone to guide them through that process, they want to be able to trust the person they choose. That's why I do what I do. My question for you is, why are you here? Is that something that you want to do? So, you know, you become a better marketer, and I didn't say salesperson, because a salesperson without a marketer is crippled. You become a better marketer if you understand the process a suspect will go through to become your client and advocate. So here I am, 70-year-old sales coach who wants to show as many financial services professionals how to place themselves in a position to guide people through that process in a way that they can trust the person they choose. Folks, that's not only a skill, it's an art. And all you have to do is follow that agenda, and that person that you're talking to will think of you in the same way. That's why I try to spend my time showing y'all my southern slang guy there, showing y'all. I could have said showing you, and that would have been different, right? Yeah. Okay. But anyway, I learned that people are problem aware. Everybody's problem aware. They know that they need to have an estate plan, but they're solution deprived and implementally deficient, and they want someone to guide them through the process. Now think about that. People are problem aware. They know that they don't have a proper estate plan. They don't know even how to go about it, and they don't know how to implement one, and they don't know how to guide. They don't know who to go to. Well, that's you. The person that they need to go to, that's you. But they're not going to come to you. You're going to have to go to them. So when I was in my early 40s, I had to learn to talk with people about their estate plan on a favorable basis by being direct in my approach. You know, I had to in one sentence, I had to say something to them that they would either agree or disagree. But if they agreed, I knew that I was going to take them on a journey that when it was over, they were going to trust me because I knew what I was going to say to them. So, and I would do it usually in a casual conversation, or by getting a response to an email or by attending a workshop. That's what we do now. So again, why are you here? I'm trying to tell you why I'm here. So I learned how important it is to get someone to focus on the fact that they might benefit from a conversation with me about their current estate plan. And folks, that drives the message home so hard, so clear, that if they see that you're sincere, they will agree to have a conversation with you about their current estate plan. You know, some of you folks that may have been here a while and haven't made a sale. I always tell people if you don't make your first sale in 60 days, there's a problem. And the problem is usually you're not implementing or following the process. But once someone agrees to have that conversation, I always introduce them to the concept that I would be a better advisor to them if I understood their family dynamics. So, after you say, I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan, and they agree, then all you have to do is that, hey, I'm going to be a better advisor to them if I understand your family dynamics. Do you care if I draw your family tree? Folks, as soon as they say yes, they are engaged. So once I've helped them draw their family tree, the prospect is opened up to me and becomes aware, becomes problem aware, and wants to move forward to be solution aware. And they don't know that that's the mental state they're going through, but that's what they're going through. So this is when I explain the documents required to have a properly designed estate plan. But I wait until I've got their attention. I don't just start talking to them about the estate plan. I need to develop the environment so that I can have this conversation. That's why I do it in reverse. And I've told you I'll do it in reverse, do it in reverse. I do so because it establishes the proper mindset for an open discussion of the selection of the proper people to represent them when they are unable to do so for themselves. Now, just in a few minutes, you would have taken them to an agreement to have a conversation and an understanding of the plan in reverse and drawing their family tree, and they can make all these decisions now pretty quick, just in a few minutes. And they also know if their plan that they have is not appropriate. So after establishing the proper mindset, and if you don't have that skill to establish the proper mindset, learn it. That's why I'm here. I'm here to teach it to you. Why are you here? It's important to lead the prospect in the solution stage. But they don't come to you in the solution stage. You have to get them there. So you do so by helping them understand the importance of not only having the proper plan for themselves, but to understand the usefulness and ease of distribution when they possess the mechanisms needed. Now, we talked about unique mechanisms and primary promises a couple of weeks ago, but when you talk to them about, hey, you don't have this paperwork, you haven't made those selections, and if you make those selections soon, you will have all the proper mechanisms you need. So this includes their real estate, their current long-term care financing plans, their income goals, their gaps, their cliffs, their sure things and maybes, how their current health situation affects their decisions, and the need for an asset and beneficiary review. It may be that they weren't even thinking about that until you approached them correctly. And you know what? We teach you how to approach them correctly. So once a prospect is brought to this realization that it becomes very easy to ask them if they agree that having the proper paperwork is a good idea, should they not take this as the first step? And all you have to do is get them to that point where they see that this is the prime opportunity, because no one's approached them before. No one has made it so easy. No one's shown them what's going on. So all of a sudden it becomes time to close. If you have done a good job, the close will be easy. You will accomplish the front end sale. And I put those keys there on purpose, because once you've accomplished the first sale, you have the keys to doing business with these people for the rest of their lives. And you can even give them your lifetime guarantee if you want to. But you'll have the keys to get started. But why would I put that in there? Why not set the stage for the delivery of the estate plan and the fact that the conversation you have just had with your new client has created some ideas you want to share? There's my first misspelled word, Greg. You want to share, but first you need to do some research and run some numbers. You know, people appreciate that. If you look at them and say, just talking to you has created some ideas that I want to share with you. But before I do that, let them know that you've got to do the research and you want to run some numbers. That shows them that you care. So, when they come in next week, if that's how you do it, and I've explained to you a couple times why I like for them to take a week, when you deliver their estate plan in their homes, and would they like to see those numbers? Again, you're setting the stage for the next step. So what did you learn in the first interview? Now think about this. You learned their real estate situation. You learned their current long-term care plans. You learned their current income structure. You learned who is closer to the cliff. And I'll be honest with you, number 4, that's probably one of the most important things. And number 5, you learned if their assets are properly structured. And so did they. But you haven't asked them to buy anything. Don't. So why are you here? You have time to do the research. If you set the appointment, if they bought it on Tuesday afternoon, they can probably come next Tuesday if you want them to. But they could also have it in a couple hours if they want to hang around. But they have time. The reason you want to take a week is they have time for pillow talk. And I've said that so many times, that if you are really skilled at what you do in estate planning, they will go home, and before they go to bed, they'll say, "Hey, Randy's right," or they'll say, "Hey, Ann's right," or they'll go in and say, "Hey, David Toper's right." You know, when they meet for the second interview, they will be ready to discuss the product solutions generated by the solution awareness you created at the end of the first interview. I don't know about you, but I think waiting a week is guarantees the fact that in most cases I get between $5,000 and $20,000 every time I make a sale in commissions, because I want them to have that pillow talk, and I want to make sure I have time to do the research. So, I try to explain this process uh, in my book, Approach, Plan, Succeed. And you've got a copy of it in your fast track training and your 30-day training. If you don't have a copy of it, send us an email and we'll get you one as quick as possible. So the process that I'm showing you is demonstrated in my booklet, Family Tree Asset Positioning, the go-to first interview. Why would you want to talk about anything else? You can talk about product, you can talk about annuities, you can talk about life insurance, you can talk about IUL, you can talk about Medicare, or whatever you want to, but that just makes you a product salesperson, not a financial planner or an estate planner. And it does not open the door to all products. And you might get the door slammed on you if you just try to go in on one product. Why would you want to do that? So, this is how and why I do what I do. I teach what I know, and I teach what I do. That's why I'm here. Why are you here? My motivation intensified. I'm going to be honest with you. And I was going to spill my guts today. My motivation intensified when I had a near-death experience with COVID in December of 2020. Some of you knew me then, some of you didn't. But I decided that there was a sense of accomplishment missing in what I do. When the doctor told me he didn't think I was going to live from Christmas Eve to Christmas Day, and I did, I fooled him. I fooled myself. I realized that I needed to teach this process using the skills I learned in college and in the classroom and in training agents for the New York Life Insurance Company. That's why I'm here. Why are you here? So it's why I developed what I call the cycle of success. I didn't create it. I developed it in a way that if you follow it, the process, it becomes a roadmap to follow that makes the process easy using a progressive spreadsheet. And some of you are here, and it took me maybe 6-7 months to get your first 10 suspects on that spreadsheet. Some of you had your suspects the next day, and some of you are making sales within 3 or 4 days. So I try to discuss the stages you go through as your career and practice begins to grow. And this is discussed in the last 4 chapters of Approach, Plan, Succeed. It starts out as a one-man operation, then a one-person operation with an assistant, and then a one-person operation with a couple of other people, clones, and then it turns into a full steam estate planning company. But only if you want it to. So, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's up to you to decide and implement your success. It's not my call. It's up to you to decide what you need from my training program. And in my training program, you only need to use one approach. People say, oh, it's too hard. It's too hard. It's too hard. It is not too hard if you master that one approach. I guess you've heard me say it 100 times. I think you may benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. You don't say that to everybody on the first thing you say to them, but you have a conversation with them, they talk to you a little bit about life, you might look at them and say, hey, I think you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. They will. Not the one you want to sell, but the one they currently have. Now, folks, this is probably why I'm here. Because if I can teach you to talk to them about the plan they currently have, it will lead you up to the conversation that they might benefit if they have with you. So, and what you're going to find out is they either have a will, a trust, or the government plan. It's going to be one of those. And so I just want to ask you the question, what is the benefit to you if you do that? What do you get out of it? Well, you get the front end sale in the first interview. If you sell it for $19.95, I know some of you are still discounting. You don't have to discount if you understand what you're selling. $1,995 for a lifetime license to change your estate plan anytime you want to. All you need to know is your login and your password. You get the guaranteed opportunity for the back end sale. If you make the easy front end sale, you get the guaranteed opportunity for the back end sale. You get the inside track to all future sales, and you get advocation and referrals from this process. I'm here to teach you how to do that. Why are you here? So the name of this presentation is, Why Am I Here? Again, why are you here? If you're new to our tribe, and when I say my tribe, a group of licensees, some of you are monthly subscribers, some of you are annual subscribers, some of you are master licensees, some of you are senior master licensees. Some of you have produced millions of dollars in business already this year. And my reason for being here is I try to provide the process in its entirety so you can follow it. And if you follow it, you can track yourself where you are. So, so if you still need to make your first sale, ask yourself if you believe in why you are here. Now, if you're brand new and you haven't made your first sale yet, well, the secret to making your first sale is taking the first step, which is identifying your suspects. Some people come in and sell us on let me be a licensee. And then we say, okay, now the next thing to do is to take the first step. And it takes them months to figure out how to take the first step. And those people, I usually look at my folks around here and I go, well, their mindset's not right. They're not sure they know why they're here. So if you just identify your market and make the approach I teach you, and I'll be honest with you, if you do not see a market, you have to take systematic, massive action. I put that video on my website several weeks ago if you want to learn how to do it. But one of my mentors told me, hey, if you can't identify your market, if you don't see a market, you need to move. Go to another town. I've had licensees that have told me over and over and over for the past year, every month, every week, and they have the same problem they had a year ago. Makes me wonder, well, maybe they just don't really want to solve it. But if you need to build momentum, the first one is, can you identify your market? And the next problem you might have is, and you may be here for this reason, you may want to learn to build momentum. So if you're not having any problem identifying your suspects, but still not getting the results you want, it's more than likely a momentum problem. And if you want to solve momentum, you have to increase the velocity of your marketing efforts. And you don't increase the velocity of your marketing efforts that don't work. You only increase the velocity of your marketing efforts that work. Of course, it could be you need to learn to believe. It's a mindset you need to succeed. If you don't believe that people are going to benefit from a conversation about your estate plan, then you probably won't make any appointments. And people probably won't buy anything from you. The next thing is, my next question is, do you own an estate plan for yourself? Would you expect someone to buy from someone who does not own an estate plan for themselves? A lot of you are trying. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the ones that have not been very productive, if I asked you, do you have an estate plan? I think the answer would be no. How can you sell a product you do not believe in? How can you ask someone to own something you do not own yourself? So I'm going to open this up to questions for you here in just a minute. Okay, but let me ask you this first question. If you could have anything you wanted from this class today, what would it be? I assume you're here for a reason. Each of you have a different reason. What is it? What is it you want to learn? And there's no way that you would all want to learn the same thing, because you all start at different spots. So my question then again is, if you could have anything you wanted from this class, what would it be? And I'm assuming you're here for a reason. Each of you have a different reason. What is it? So right now, all I'm saying to you is, where are you in this process? And you don't have to say, but maybe just go to your chat right in there and just type in where you are in the process. Okay. I'll wait for a minute. If some of you want to type something in, we can talk about it. Are you in the beginning step? Are you trying to identify your suspects? Are you trying to learn how to convert that suspect into a prospect? I call it crossing the bridge. Are you trying to decide what to say to your prospect to make them a client? All you have to do is follow the agenda and do the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview. are you afraid to ask someone to make the purchase decision of the estate plan after you guide them through the process and find out they don't have one? And if they decide not to buy one, uh, are they giving you good reasons or real reasons? And then once they buy that estate plan from you, are you setting the stage for the back end interview? And if you set the stage for the back end interview, are you going into that interview prepared? Do you have what you need? And are you, when they come in to sit down, knowing that they've had their pillow talk and they're there to pick up their estate plan, and they're here to see what you have to say? Thank you, David. That's romantic. Uh, you know, just if you have time, you ought to try to attend the boot camp in Las Vegas. It's on April 30th. Folks, there's going to be a 7 a.m. breakfast, and I'm going to buy you breakfast, and the class begins at 8 o'clock, and lunch at noonish, and over at 3:30, and it's going to be a really nice day for you to become aware of the solutions people are looking for. So, and if you come, I want you to come meet the people who make our project successful. Sure, it's you out in the field, that's you as a licensee, but it's also our trainers here, our master licensees. It's people like Tony Rinaldi, who is an attorney up in Cleveland, Ohio. He's going to be there to talk to you a little bit about a case that he and I talked about a month ago, and I went in and presented it on a deferred sales trust, and I picked up a $130,000 annuity sale, and went back and talked to him one more time and walked out of there with $1 million. So yeah, I want you to come learn the people I want you to come meet my mentors. You're also going to have an opportunity to meet Mr. Mike Bemis and some of his cohorts, but I want you to learn the options you have for product design. And I want you to meet the people who make me successful, the people who are behind the scenes that my clients never meet, but they do so much of the work for me. I set the stage, and then it's just like I reach out and say, here's the situation, send me the best product. I want you to come be one of us. And I don't want you just to watch us. I don't want you sitting on the sideline. Okay. And Ann, I can see you said you've identified suspects, did one first interview and have another first interview for this Sunday. I'm almost done reading the entire training manual, just focusing on my delivery and building up confidence. I love the fact that I can provide another important service to my clients. Absolutely right. And they will appreciate it too. And it looks like I didn't do it, but it says I did. Here's the boot camp link. That must be one of the people that helped make me successful. Okay. And Carter, I understand if you're fighting health problems. I understand those health problems. And at the same time, it's because of those health problems that you're probably one of the most important people they could meet. So anyway, we'll go up here to see if there's anything else I need to know. Okay, so Ed, I believe you're the next mentor for me and my son, Joe, for this next season of our careers. We have seemingly been so slow to start, but we are serious about this. A father-son business relationship is so powerful. And as a father, you probably didn't get to spend your career talking about estate planning, but now you have a reason for your son to go in and talk to every one of the business relationships that you've already established. That is so valuable. And once you set up those relationships, when they have asset changes and relationship changes and health changes, money starts moving. Money starts moving. So anyway, I want you to come be with us. Are there any other questions that you have? I just wanted to share this thought process with you today. I'll talk to you about anything you want to talk about. I'll just rest here a minute. And if you want to type it in, or if you at least, do you see any more chats that we need to talk about?
May was just saying to Carter that he'll get there. Keep going at your pace in your season of life. I have faith in you. Best wishes.
Good deal. Good deal. I want to tell you about things that are going on for those folks out there in California and Arizona. Um, if you want to talk to me, if you qualify and you're one of my annual licensees and you are a notary, I have a lot of estate plans that have been pre-sold and need to be delivered. But I'm not going to give it to a delivery person who's non-productive or is not committed or hasn't solved the momentum problem on their own. These are going to be gifts to people. If you're one of my licensees and if you're set up with Simplicity, I'll give you leads to go fund estate plans in those states. But it's not really a gift. It's something you will have either earned or that you will earn by qualifying and taking the training, and I'll help you through that. So, and I think I told somebody last week I delivered 27 of them this fall and did over $2 million worth of business with them. So if you divide 27 into 2 million, that'll tell you about the average cost of each appointment. So it might be something to think about. I need your help. I think there's going to be probably somewhere between 250 and 300 of those things. And they came to me because of our training program. They said, we like what you're doing. We need people that have been through your training program. That's all I'm going to say about that right now. But if you're interested, you probably ought to send me an email and talk to me about it. So anyway, any other questions? So let me ask you, why are you here?
Rantel Annie had a question in the chat.
Okay, go ahead. Where
what
is
if
it?
someone says they just want a will, not a trust, or they just want a POA?
Well, if you have a business relationship with an attorney, you ought to probably send them over there. But if they say they just want a will or they just want a POA, have you actually gone through the sales presentation and showed them why it's important to have all of it? And I kid people all the time. I tell people they have three choices: either all of it, none of it, or some of it. But when you're doing an estate plan, some of it's not a good idea. If you want to help them get just a will or just a power of attorney, feel free to do that. I don't think I've been asked that question in years because I follow the sales presentation and make them realize that having one of those things is not a finished job. And if you have a family that you love and people that you want to help or you want to help you, then they'll pivot back over to the whole plan. So don't let them sell you on buying an inferior plan. Just look at them and go, why would you do that? If they say they just want a will, it's probably because they don't have many assets. Because if they think that they can go in with a will, if they have many assets at all, then you haven't explained things right to them. And it's why would someone want a will that forces them to go into probate court when they can have documents that keep them out of probate court? I hope that answers your question. Are there any other questions?
Carter had a question in the chat. He said that a question that has come up is the Social Security cliff. What does the surviving spouse get?
In most cases, I think all cases, depending on how long they've been married, the surviving spouse loses the lower Social Security monthly payment. And they lose it so quick, it'll make your head swim. I don't think anybody's gone over 30 days, but the funeral home will, or whoever issues the death certificates, the Social Security people find out about it and they immediately cut off that income. That's a cliff. When you lose an income immediately and you haven't had time to adjust it, that's what we call a cliff.
Hey, Randy.
Any other questions? Yes.
On that, I was just going to say, not just immediately, they do it retroactively. When my father-in-law died, he died late in the month, and he'd already received it because he was a first Wednesday recipient because his last name started with a B. and he died the 20th of the month, they actually recaptured it.
Yeah. Okay. That's, yeah. They're paying monthly in advance and they just want their money back. And folks, a lot of people, they have that cliff, and that's a big whack. And it's a big whack that's going to show up every month now for the rest of their lives. That's a cliff. Let me tell you, let's say the average Social Security is $1,500. I don't know. I'm gonna make it easy. Let's say it's $1,000. And if you identify, when you ask the questions that I teach you to ask on page 2 of the confidential, and you go in and talk about the long-term care and the income and the gaps and the cliffs and the sure things and the maybe, then you ask those health questions and you find out that one of those spouses is closer to the cliff than the other, and you talk to the one that's going to probably survive, the one who's closer to the cliff, if they feel comfortable with the plan that they have, you probably hear a big no. You probably hear a big no. And so if it's $1,000 and if someone buys an income product from you, either American Equity or Meritas, it just depends on their age, what product you use. The amount of money that you need to generate that $1,000 a month is close to between $230,000 and $260,000, depending on their age and the bonuses and things like that. If you find a cliff like that, you're going to probably make somewhere between $14,000 and $17,000 on the back end. And you're going to close that gap so that when that person who's closer to the cliff dies, and when their government takes that Social Security away from them, you're going to be standing right there, Johnny, on the spot. Say, that's all right. We planned for that. Let's replace that income right now. Sign right here, and it will start in 30 days or 20 days. We'll start the first of the month. You know, that makes you a hero, especially, well, to both of them. The one who's closer to the cliff now knows that you've helped solve a problem that they might not have even known they had. And the healthier one is very grateful to you because you've identified the problem and helped them solve it. Thank you, Tony, for saying that. How about another question?
Carter added to his question, who do you recommend for long-term care?
Oh, I recommend the person that's had a heart attack, maybe crippled, and had a couple of strokes. I'm sorry, that's not funny, Carter. I don't recommend any one company for any product. The best thing to do is for you to gather your data and tell them that you've got some ideas for them and that you need to do some research and run some numbers. And when they come back in next week, would they like to see their numbers? That's all you have to say. And in most cases, if they already have a health problem, they can't get a traditional long-term care policy anyway. So Carter, I'm just going to tell you that I have no loyalty to any insurance company. My only loyalty is to that person who has trusted me enough to talk to me about the situation they're in, knowing that I'm going to go out and do the proper research and solve their problem when they come back in. And if they have any pillow talk in the meantime, they can deal with it when they come in for the second appointment. And I hope that answers your question. Don't commit to any one product. It's a bad idea. Next question.
There's nothing more in the chat.
I'm sorry, what?
There's nothing more in the chat.
Okay, and Greg was looking at me talking to us. If you recommend a product in advance, it sort of ties your hands up. So don't do that. None of those companies are going to survive or die because you sell their product. But your client may live or die because you sold them the wrong product. So go in and when you say I have to do the research and have to run some numbers, mean it and do it. And the company will float to the top. That's perfect for that situation. And there's no one product out there that'll fit everybody. So are there any experiences that anybody's had out there? So maybe some of you will say, go ahead and answer my question for me. Why did you show up today? Why are you here? What is it you can take away from this meeting today? Or what is it you came to find? Or what are you looking for? Somebody give me some help on that.
I came to find the continued instruction and ability to borrow belief from
Tony,
so
you believe you're busy. I understand how busy you are. You're chasing kids up and down those fields and you're wore out and you're tired. Every once in a while, um, take a break and make yourself $20,000 or $30,000.
so true.
How about somebody else?
Hey, Randy, Cynthia.
Yes. Hi, Cynthia.
I'm back from being on an illness, but a whole
Greg
lot's
was telling
been
me.
going on.
I know Greg
Um,
told me you were down a little bit.
yeah, and so I've got to go back and look at all the sessions that I missed. But since yesterday, I've had one person that called me because the husband had a stroke. Another one called me because the husband has had to go to the hospital with first they had a cold and then it went to a couple other things. Um, and another friend called me because she has a military person that needed some, financial information. And
Okay.
so it's
Look
like,
at Cynthia.
okay,
Okay, I know you've been sick here for a while, but um, wouldn't have been great if you had got to those people before that happened?
yeah, well, the couple people I had, but sometimes people wait until they think they want, they put it off. And so
Okay. All right. So let me ask you a
it gets
question.
interesting.
Okay. Okay. It is interesting, but let me just ask you a question. It's going to be very direct. Okay.
Sure.
Are you putting them on a table in a coma where the doctor doesn't think they're going to live at the proper place in the presentation where that's what you do?
Say that to me again.
Okay. Uh, early in the conversation, I teach all of you all to go over the estate plan in reverse, talk about the documents in reverse. And to do that, you need to be able to get that person in the right mindset. And when I do workshops, I always say, hey, everybody, I'm going to take you on a journey. Come on, go with me because it's important. And then I say, tonight at 6 o'clock or 9 p.m. tonight, you're going to be in a hospital in a coma. The doctor doesn't think you're going to live. Who in your family tree would you want to represent you if you could not speak for yourself? They almost will all point to their spouse. But then that's when I look at them and I go, well, what if the spouse was on the table with you? It forces them to make that decision. If you get them if you do my presentation correctly, they cannot say no to you unless they don't love the person they're with or unless they don't have any money. Because if they don't have the proper plan, and if you selected people that can afford what you do, they will take care of it that day. And I don't know what to say to those of you who haven't made your first sale yet, except you have not followed what I teach, because what I teach works and it's good for you and good for them, and it solves the problems that the family have. So Cynthia, I've known you about a year now, a little over a year. Okay. And all I'm saying to you is those people uh, probably could have been closed beforehand. And you need to find out what it is you might not be doing correctly to get them to buy in the first interview an estate plan that they know they need and want and can afford. So, and that's why I talk about you have to get them set in the right mindset. That's why you say, I think you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan, and I'll be a better advisor if I understand your family dynamics. Is that okay? If once they hear that, they're gonna really, I think the reason that some people don't make many sales is because they don't make the sales presentation, don't set the stage, and don't get people in the right mindset. You know, it's an art. And
Yes,
and
it
once
is.
once you learn that art, all you have to do to build momentum is repeat the action, the initial action. Repeat what you say in the first interview. I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. Increase the number of times you do it. Build your momentum.
Okay.
Okay. So
All
so
right.
you know, if you want me to, I'll give him a call and say you should have listened to Cynthia the first time she talked to you. Okay. Cynthia,
Yes.
you have to do the presentation correctly to have those kind of results.
Yes.
And for all of us here today, I keep thinking, why are you here? What is it you need to learn? What is it you want to learn? And if you want a six-figure or multi-six-figure income this year, repeat one thing over and 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 over. Hey, I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. That will make you $200, $300, $400, $500, $600,000 this year if you want it. Now you can justify not having it, but I'll promise you, you can't justify it by me if you say you're wanting to make sales and not following what I'm trying to teach. And just remember, I'm trying to teach this because, and I told you, I try to be honest with you, because of my near-death experience, I realized that I had something so valuable that I could share with other licensed agents that if I'm no longer here, the process will carry on. And I'll be honest with you, if I look at the number of sales that we had last year in 2023, I know that my teachings changed the lives of 203 families across the United States. And I think that this year I'd probably be 300. And I'm not going to change what I teach. I'm not going to change what I do. But if you want to pick up on this, I don't know if it's a windfall or a wave but I'll be honest with you, I think it's probably something that's going to go on for decades for those who learn it right and do it right over and over and over. So I hope that helps, Cynthia. Go do it.
It does. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna get with Greg so I can get me where I need to be.
All right. All right. So,
Thank you so
so,
much.
okay. So I'm going to tell you right now where you need to be. Are you listening?
I'm listening.
10 suspects that you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. That is the easiest thing in the world to think of and do. 10 people. If you do those 10 people, some of you are going to tell you no. So what? Don't get your feelings hurt. 7 of them will tell you yes. And 3 of them are going to buy from you within a week. And all I can say to you is you guys who are not making many sales or want to learn how to make sales, just believe in what you do. Own what you sell. Be sincere in what you say to people.
Zig Ziglar says, or said, it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude.
Absolutely. Okay. So and in my book, Approach Plan Succeed, I talked to you about the seagull that's flying so high and the other seagulls don't know how he's doing it. And the only way, and when they finally got up there to where they could ask him how he's doing, all he said was, I learned from that other seagull up there flying a little higher than me. And they got up to that second seagull, and that seagull says, I don't want to spend the time to teach you what I know. Well, you've run into one seagull that doesn't mind teaching you what he knows. And I think it'd change the number of zeros in your bank account if you wanted it to. Anything else? Come on, I got a little more energy left in me.
Hey, Randall, this is Barbara. Hey, do you have a minute to talk to me? We could talk offline about that power of attorney question that I sent you.
Yes. Once we get off here, I'll just give me a call, 865-654-1635.
Thank you.
Okay. So what else is out there? If you're in California, Arizona, Nevada, you ought to talk to me. I could probably put a couple $100,000 in your pocket sometime in 2024, probably spread out over the year. All right. Anything else? If you're in Tennessee or if you're in Ohio or if you're in Texas or wherever you are, listen to what I've said today. Why are you here? And the only way I could get you to address the issue, why are you here, is to tell you why I am here. Because I could just stop tomorrow on my own and never share this with anybody else. I could stop tomorrow and not be able to share it with anybody else. Okay, so I'm just trying to tell you that there is an opportunity in the market today for financial services people to learn one sentence and one go-to first interview and be prepared to provide the service that these people are wanting, and be prepared to offer to do the research and to run the numbers. And it's just that easy. It's just that easy. Anything else? Okay. It's 4:02. Let me see what the next frame says here before I go. Maybe just a second. Don't leave yet. And y'all have heard me talk about Captain Kangaroo and Grandfather Clock, and he was always right in the middle of the conversation. If I could just get my screen to work here. I can't. I don't know why it's frozen, but Grandfather Clock would always look at everybody and say, "Hey, it's time to go." So if y'all don't have any more questions for me, I'm just going to tell you it's time to go.
Where's your cursor?
I don't know where my cursor is. It's all right. That's all right. Any other questions? Last chance. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. When I go off air here today and I stop my share, ask yourself, why was I here today? Why was I here? Okay. I hope you had fun. I did. I'll talk to you later. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.